Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to explore the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, he's the guy blending neuroscience with quantum physics, right?
You got it. Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking breaking free from those limitations we put on ourselves.
Rewiring our brains.
And maybe, just maybe, creating a whole new reality.
The really interesting thing about Dr. Dispenza, at least for me, is that he's saying our thoughts, and our feelings and even our beliefs, they actually end up shaping the reality around us.
Okay, so it's not just like slapping on a happy face and hoping for the best.
No, it goes way deeper than that. He's bringing in neuroscience here. He explains how, repetitive thoughts actually start to create pathways in your brain.
So it's like those paths become our default way of thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Like grooves on a record. They just keep playing the same tune, you know what I mean?
Oh, I see. So those grooves, they're shaping the experiences we have in our lives.
Absolutely.
So if I'm always stressing about work, I am actually making those stress pathways stronger.
Exactly. You're training your brain to expect that stress.
Wow, I didn't realize it worked like that. But there's good news, right? What about neuroplasticity?
That's the key. It means our brains, they can change. With effort, we can create new pathways, new grooves, and those lead to new experiences.
Okay, so I'm not stuck with the brain I was born with, thank goodness.
Definitely not. You have so much power to change.
So how do we actually start creating those new pathways, those new grooves?
Well, Dr. Dispenza talks about breaking the habit of being yourself.
What? Break the habit of being myself? What does that even mean?
It's like he points out, by the time we're 35, 95% of who we are is just automatic habits. We're practically on autopilot.
95%? Are you serious?
Yeah, it's kind of wild, right?
So if most of what we do is just habit, do we even have any control?
That's where the real power comes in. It's about taking control. Think of your brain like a garden.
A garden, okay.
Yeah, those old habits, they're like weeds that have taken root. But you can plant new seeds, new thoughts, new behaviors, and those can blossom into a whole new reality.
Okay, I'm liking this garden analogy. So how do we start planting those seeds?
Well, it all starts with awareness. Just paying attention to those everyday habits that might be reinforcing the old you.
Like what? Can you give me an example?
Like reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, maybe?
I
You've
feel-
all been there.
Oh yeah, guilty as charged. But let's say I become aware of the habit. How do I change it?
Instead of grabbing that phone, what if you started your day by visualizing the person you want to be? Feel those feelings of success, peace, whatever you're aiming for, even before you see it in your life.
So basically tricking my brain into thinking it's already achieved what I want.
Yeah, something like that. You're shifting your energy toward what you want to create, planting those seeds in your mental garden.
Okay, this is pretty cool. But we can't forget about emotions, right?
Absolutely. Dr. Dispenza talks about this all the time. He says there's a huge difference between living in that constant state of stress, fight or flight, and living in a state of creation.
Creation.
Yeah, a state fueled by love, joy, and gratitude.
Interesting. So being stressed all the time, it's actually shaping my reality.
In a way, yeah. It's like you're sending out this signal asking for more of this, please.
And I thought stress was just bad for my health. I didn't realize it was impacting my reality, too.
It's all connected. On the other hand, if you're focusing on gratitude, joy, you're sending out a completely different signal.
One that aligns me with a more positive reality.
Exactly. It's about shifting your whole state of being.
Okay, now we're getting to the mind-bending part. What about this quantum field everyone's talking about?
Yeah, the quantum field, it can be a bit much to wrap your head around.
Honestly, it always sounded a little out there to me.
I get it. Think of it like this. The quantum field is this, like cosmic menu. Infinite possibilities, right? Your thoughts and emotions are your order. The more you focus on a specific dish, the more likely it is to show up.
So I'm not just a physical being, I'm an energetic being.
Exactly. And your energy, it's interacting with this field of infinite possibilities.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it, and this is where meditation comes in, right?
Meditation is huge. When you meditate, especially if you're visualizing what you want, your brain starts experiencing it as real, even if it hasn't happened yet.
So tricking my brain again.
In a way, yeah. Dr. Dispenza calls it collapsing time. You're feeling those emotions of your future in the present moment, bringing that reality closer.
Wait, collapsing time, that sounds like something out of Back to the Future.
It's pretty wild, right? But think about it. If our thoughts and emotions really do shape our reality, why couldn't we pull our future into the present by feeling it?
Okay, now that is mind-blowing, but Is there, like, any scientific evidence for this collapsing time thing?
Well, there's this thing called heart and brain coherence. It's pretty fascinating. When we experience positive emotions, our heart and brain sync up, sending out powerful signals throughout our bodies.
So those positive feelings aren't just making me feel good, they're changing me on a physical level.
You got it. It's like reprogramming your subconscious.
Wow, I'm already feeling more hopeful just thinking about it. But I bet it takes serious practice to shift your thoughts and emotions like that all the time.
It does take effort.
Yeah.
But even a few minutes each day, focusing on gratitude, visualizing your future, it can make a huge difference.
You know what? Let's try a visualization right now. I'm ready to tap into this quantum potential.
All right, I love it. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, just relax your body.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Now bring to mind something you truly desire, something that lights you up just thinking about it.
Okay, I've got it.
Now see yourself living that reality. What do you see, hear, smell, touch? And most importantly, how do you feel? Really experience those emotions as if it's happening right now.
Wow, it feels so real.
Hold on to that feeling. Let those positive emotions wash over you. This is you aligning with your desired reality.
This is incredible. I feel lighter, like anything is possible.
That's the power of your mind at work. The more you practice, the more you'll see those shifts reflected in your life.
Okay, we've talked about the science, the power of our thoughts and emotions, this wild quantum field, even tried a little visualization. But Dr. Dispenza doesn't just talk about this stuff theoretically, right? He's got stories of people actually transforming their lives.
Absolutely. He talks about people doing some pretty extraordinary things. He calls them supernatural.
Supernatural. Hold on, are we talking superpowers here?
Not exactly comic book superpowers. It's more about people tapping into their full potential, doing things that, science might struggle to explain.
Like what? Give me some examples.
He talks about people healing themselves from serious illnesses, manifesting incredible opportunities, overcoming major obstacles, all through the power of their minds.
Okay, now you've got my attention. But let's be real, not everyone's going to cure themselves of a disease just by thinking happy thoughts, right?
Of course not. It's not magic. Dr. Dispenza is clear about that. He says becoming supernatural takes dedication, belief, and consistent practice.
So it's a journey, not a quick fix.
Exactly. It starts with awareness, recognizing those thoughts, beliefs, habits that are holding you back, the stuff running on autopilot.
Makes sense. So what are the key steps to becoming supernatural? Where do we even begin?
It's a clear path, actually. Awareness, like we talked about, then reprogramming and living in the feeling of your future.
Okay, break that down for me. We've talked about awareness, but what about reprogramming? How do we actually change those deep-seated patterns?
That's where meditation and visualization come in again. By practicing them regularly, you're installing new, more empowering beliefs. You're creating new neural pathways that support the reality you want.
So we're training our brains to think and feel differently.
Exactly. The more you practice, the more those new pathways become your default. You start seeing the world differently, reacting differently, attracting new experiences that match your new internal state.
Okay, I'm with you. But what does living in the feeling of your future actually look like?
It's about feeling the joy, the excitement, the fulfillment of your dreams, as if they're already here. Like cultivating gratitude for those things even before you have them.
So it's not just understanding that I want a new job, it's feeling the emotions of already having it.
You got it. Your emotions are powerful energy signals. When you feel those emotions of your dreams, you're aligning with that reality on an energetic level.
Okay, this is getting really interesting, but I need some real-life examples.
Huh?
Any stories of people actually using this to change their lives?
Oh, tons. Dr. Dispenza has so many. There's the woman who completely healed herself from a terrible autoimmune disease.
Autoimmune disease, wow. How?
She went all in on meditation, visualization, and feeling those emotions of joy and gratitude. She literally rewired her brain and her body began to heal.
Seriously, our minds can have that much impact on our health.
The evidence is pretty compelling. Then there's the story of the man who manifested his dream job, seemingly out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, like he was just visualizing on his couch.
Well, he was actively looking for work, but nothing was happening. Then he added visualization and meditation to his routine, focusing on how it would feel to have that perfect job.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, he got a call for a job he didn't even apply for. A perfect fit, better than he imagined.
So he tapped into that quantum field and pulled his dream job right out of it.
That's one way to put it. And there's another one, the woman who overcame a lifelong fear of public speaking.
Ugh, public speaking terrifies me. How'd she do it?
She visualized herself giving a successful speech, feeling the confidence and ease. Gradually, she rewired her brain's response, replacing fear with empowerment.
These stories are amazing, but if this is possible, why isn't everyone doing it? Why aren't we all living these incredible lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think it boils down to belief, commitment, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones. We're so used to operating within our limitations, it's hard to embrace the possibility of something more.
Like we've been programmed to believe we're limited, but these stories are proof that we're not.
Exactly. They shatter those limiting beliefs and show us what's possible when we tap into the power of our minds.
So what does all of this mean for our listeners? What's the takeaway?
It means we're not victims of circumstance. We have the power to choose our thoughts, emotions, and ultimately our reality.
Wow. So if our thoughts really do shape our lives, what reality will we choose to create?
That's a question we each have to answer for ourselves.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far. I'm feeling so inspired. But before we move on, let's make sure our listeners have some actionable steps. Where do they start if they want to unlock their own supernatural potential?
Start small. A gratitude practice is a great place to begin. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Then spend a few minutes visualizing your ideal future, feeling those emotions as if it's happening right now.
Those are great starting points. What else?
Share this deep dive with someone who might benefit. Let's spread this message of empowerment and possibility.
I love it. Let's create a ripple effect of transformation.
Remember, you have the power within you to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Don't underestimate yourself.
That's right. We all have the potential to be supernatural. It's time to unleash it.
One thing I find really fascinating is how Dr. Dispenza connects those personal transformation stories, like the ones we just talked about, to like a bigger picture, almost a spiritual context.
Yeah, he's not afraid to tackle the big questions, is he? So what's his take on the spiritual side of all this?
He talks about moving from a state of survival to a state of creation. And he suggests that, humanity's been kind of stuck in survival mode for way too long. All that focus on fear, scarcity, limitations, all that.
That makes sense. It does feel like we're constantly bombarded with messages of like fear and lack,
Exactly.
from the media, even our own thoughts sometimes.
And all those messages, they keep us trapped in those old neural pathways, those limited ways of thinking, But Dispenza's saying we can evolve beyond that.
So how do we make that shift from survival to creation? Is it just like positive thinking?
It's bigger than just thinking positive, I think. It's about recognizing like our interconnectedness with everything. Understanding that we're not separate from that quantum field, but actually a part of it.
So we're not just isolated individuals trying to make it on our own.
Right. We're all part of something much, much bigger.
Okay, I like where this is going. So how do we actually tap into that interconnectedness? Is it through meditation?
Meditation is a big one for sure. When we quiet the mind, focus on the breath, we can tune into a deeper awareness, like the sense of oneness with everything.
It's like silencing that mental chatter and connecting to something more fundamental.
Exactly. And from that place of connection, we can start to like intentionally create a reality that aligns with our highest potential. And not just for ourselves, but for everyone.
Okay, so it's not just about manifesting personal desires, but about contributing to a better world.
That's the cool part. When we operate from this state of creation, our desires naturally align with what's good for everyone. It's like we become co-creators of reality, working with the universe to manifest a more loving, peaceful, abundant world for all.
This is pretty inspiring stuff, but I gotta admit, it's a huge shift in perspective. It's hard to wrap my head around sometimes, especially when we're so conditioned to see the world through, like, separation and scarcity.
It is a big shift, profound one. But Dispenza reminds us we're not limited by our past, our genes, our circumstances, any of that.
We have the power to choose a new reality.
Exactly. Rewrite the story. Become the creators of our own destiny.
It's like waking up from a dream and realizing we're not just characters in someone else's story, we're the authors of our own lives.
Perfectly said. And as we wake up to that truth, we become more conscious, intentional, aligned with our purpose. We start to live from a place of love, not fear.
Okay, so how do we actually start living this new way of being? What are some practical things we can do to shift from survival to creation?
Awareness is always the first step. Pay attention to your thoughts, your beliefs. Are they rooted in fear, scarcity, limitation? Or are they infused with love, abundance, possibility.
Like taking inventory of our mental landscape, right? Seeing what needs to be weeded out and what seeds we want to plant.
Exactly. Once you've identified those limiting beliefs, you can start to challenge them, replace them with more empowering ones.
What about affirmations? Do those actually work?
They can be surprisingly effective. When you repeat a new belief, you're literally creating new neural pathways, reinforcing those new thought patterns.
Okay, so affirmations are like mental reps, strengthening those positive thinking muscles. What else?
Visualization, like we did earlier. Spend some time each day visualizing yourself, living the reality you want. Feel the emotions, engage your senses, make it real in your mind's eye.
I'm still a bit skeptical about visualization. How can just imagining something make it real?
Remember, the quantum field responds to our energy, thoughts, emotions, all of it. When you visualize with feeling, you're sending out a strong signal. You're aligning yourself with that reality you're envisioning.
So it's like placing a detailed order with the universe. And the more heartfelt the order, the more likely it is to be delivered.
Exactly. And the most important ingredient in that order, feeling. The universe responds to our emotions more than our words.
So it's not just visualizing that dream house, it's about feeling the joy and gratitude of already living there.
Precisely. The feeling is the key that unlocks manifestation.
This is starting to click for me. So we become aware of our limiting beliefs, replace them with empowering affirmations, visualize our desired reality with strong emotion. Anything else?
Don't forget gratitude. Cultivating gratitude for what we already have, even the small things, shifts our energy from lack to abundance.
So gratitude's like a magnet, attracting more good stuff into our lives.
You got it. And the more we focus on what we're grateful for, the more reasons we find to be grateful. It's this upward spiral that lifts our energy and aligns us with a reality of abundance.
It's not just about getting what we want, but appreciating what we already have.
Exactly. Gratitude is the foundation of a truly fulfilling life. It opens us up to receiving even more.
This is powerful stuff. But what about when things don't go our way? When we do all the visualizing, affirming, gratitude stuff, but still face challenges and setbacks? Does that mean it's not working?
Not at all. Challenges are part of life. It's all about how we respond to them. Do we let them drag us back into fear and despair? Or do we see them as opportunities for growth, trusting that we're being guided towards something better?
So it's about keeping the faith even when things get tough.
Exactly. Remember, we're not in control of everything that happens, but we are in control of how we respond. And when we respond with love, compassion, and a belief in our ability to create a positive outcome, we turn challenges into opportunities.
This whole conversation's been so eye-opening, but one thing keeps coming up for me, this idea of responsibility. If we really can shape our reality, doesn't that come with a huge responsibility?
It absolutely does. The power to create comes with the responsibility to use it wisely, ethically, for the good of all.
So we can't just manifest whatever we want without considering the impact on others and the world around us.
True empowerment comes from aligning our desires with what's best for everyone, recognizing our interconnectedness, and understanding that our